Oh, right, this is what it was.
Good evening. Hi.
Oh.
Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Between the rain, the wind, and of course, the horrible news we all heard about today, I'm so grateful that you're all here tonight. And I recognize so many people from all the events we participated in throughout the year. So welcome to our annual Make Food Not War dinner. Like I said, so wonderful that so many of you made the trip out here tonight. Let's face it, by doing this, we're helping in a world that's hurting so much. And all of us here, like I said, I recognize so many of you from other activities throughout the year. And this is what we need to do, really just to help at a time when there's so much hurt. And one of the things I like so much about Peace Action, it really goes back so far in history, thousands of years of people realizing the most important thing is to protect the most vulnerable people in our communities. And of course, you can see the people we're honoring tonight, that's what they're here for. That's what we're honoring them for recognizing that it's the most vulnerable people in our communities that need our protection and our help. But looking around the room, I see everybody here gets that. Everybody here has been part of that fight to protect the most vulnerable in our communities. So thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for all the work you've done. If we had a nice list in our program of all the activities over the past year. A year from now, I'm sure we'll have another list like this. I hope as many of you can participate in our projects or whatever projects you're working in your own communities. And at that, I'm going to turn it over to our MC tonight, Teresa.
Sophia Abdul-Kawi, Patricia Akumu, Deja Richardson on behalf of Ramsey Order, Cesar Vargas, and all our guests, welcome. My name is Teresa Cagliari, and it's my privilege and pleasure on behalf of Peace Action Staten Island to welcome you this evening. We are delighted to have you with us to participate and share in our annual Make Food Not War dinner. Thank you for coming. That you are here reminds us all how important our work is. Peace Action Staten Island is committed to promoting the nonviolent resolution of conflict, the abolition of nuclear weapons, halting the global spread of conventional arms, building a human rights culture, and supporting human needs instead of militarism. This year's honorees are united by their bravery in building a human rights culture. To be brave is to show mental or moral strength in the face of danger, fear, or difficulty. We often ask ourselves why. Tonight's honorees ask themselves, why not? When we speak, we are afraid our words will not be heard or welcomed. But when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it's better to speak up. Prepare to be excited and inspired as you learn of our awardees' bravery this evening. We've selected 4 people who have made an impact on Staten Island over the last several years. And I'd like to begin with Sophia Abdul-Kawi. Leonardo da Vinci wrote, "I love those who can smile in trouble, who gather strength from distress, and grow brave by reflection." Those words truly apply to the inimitable spirit of Sophia Abdul-Kawi. Her smile and resolve are both stellar. Sophia founded the Muslim Sisters of Staten Island. Their goal is to provide activities, resources, advocacy, and support to promote community awareness, civil engagement, and equity, primarily for the underserved women and children of the community. These activities include, but are not limited to, Arabic and Quran lessons at El Centro, community Eid celebrations, a creative art expo, Sisters Swim, which I was part of, youth camp, Halal Food Fest Bazaar, and a health resource fair. Also, I was part of that too. Sophia is originally from Jamaica, but has called Staten Island home for over 36 years. She's a registered nurse and an adjunct professor. In 2016, she was inducted into the National Association of Professional Women, VIP, Women of the Year Circle, and she's a recipient of the Masjidus Sabor 2016 Phenomenal Woman Award. With our president vowing to close mosques, creating databases of American Muslims, and proposing a Muslim ban, the mission of Muslim Sisters of Staten Island to create good community relations is essential. Sevilla understands that true peace cannot be kept by force, it can only be achieved by understanding. For all she is doing to foster this understanding, it is my pleasure to present this award to Sophia Abdul Kawi. This first one is from Peace Action Staten Island, and it says, in recognition of your work with Muslim Sisters of Staten Island, empowering and advocating for Muslim women and children on Staten Island, from Peace Action Staten Island.
Thank you.
Another certificate of merit from the Assembly of the State of New York in recognition of the achievement of Sophia Abdul Kawi, founder of the Muslim Sisters of Staten Island, for being a Staten Island peacemaker on this occasion of the annual Make Food Not War dinner hosted by Peace Action of Staten Island. Hereby presents a certificate of merit from Assemblyman Matthew Titone.
Oh, wow.
And there's more. The City Council citation. I'm just going to read this once. They all say the same thing, so I'll read it once so that you know what they say. Whereas a great city is only as great as those persons who give exemplary service to their communities. Whereas through unique personal achievement in their professional or other endeavors, or simply through a lifetime of philanthropy and community service, and whereas such service, which is truly the lifeblood of the community and the city, so often goes unrecognized and unrewarded, now therefore be it resolved that as a duly elected member of the New York City Council, I recognize that Sophia Abdul Kawi, Staten Island peacemaker, Peace Action of Staten Island, we have an outstanding citizen, one who is worthy of the esteem of both our community and the great city of New York, Deborah Rose, Council Member.
Thank you so much, guys. Oh, wow. I'm speechless, actually. I'm very happy to receive this award. I feel very honored. I thought I was just going to get one, but I feel very blessed, and I will try my best to continue our work here in the community and to build more bridges and more relationships with everyone in the community. Thank you so much.
That's her daughter. There once was this man in Jerusalem, and he went to the wall every day to pray. And this reporter was noticing that he goes every day to pray at the wall. And so finally she said, maybe there's a story here. So she went up and she asked the man, and she introduced herself. She says, I'm a reporter, and I see you every day going to the wall to pray. She goes, what do you pray for? And he goes, I pray for understanding between Jews, Muslims, and Christians. I pray for peace. I pray for my children and my grandchildren, that they will live in safety and harmony. And she says, wow, it must make you feel good. And he goes, no, I feel like I'm talking to a wall. But don't give up. When we feel like we're talking to a wall, don't give up. And that's what's happening with our peacemakers this evening. Our next peacemaker is Patricia Okumu, and she gave the best line about what she did. She said, when they go low, we go high. I went as high as I could. So said our next recipient. She was taken into custody for scaling the Statue of Liberty. Patricia Okumu is a member of Rise and Resist, a direct action group committed to opposing, disrupting, and defeating any government act that threatens democracy, equality, and our civil liberties. It was formed in response to the 2016 U.S. elections. Patricia is a woman who takes liberty seriously. Her action was in response to the separation and detention of immigrant children. Over 3 months later, the number of children in detention is still unacceptably high. Patricia is an immigrant herself from the Democratic Republic of Congo and has lived in New York for over 10 years. She has a long history of fighting social justice battles. Going to Liberty Island on the 4th of July in hopes of drawing public attention to a violation of universal rights and climbing the Statue of Liberty to protest a president's antagonism and cruelty toward immigrants was totally in keeping with everything that National Monument is to stand for being brave, taking risks, and going high as she could. I please welcome Patricia Okumu. So this award is in recognition of your courage in protesting immigration policy and taking a stand for detained children and their families. And we have also a certificate from Matt Jatone and a certificate from Debbie Rose. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. This is the first time I'm being honored for my courageous actions. I want to thank the Peace Action of Staten Island for thinking about me. Sometimes when you think it's a wall in front of you and you feel isolated, there are actually people out there who care and who are listening. So I'm really happy to be here. Thank you to Sally Jones, who invited me. And I'm happy to be part of the Make Food Not War. And I want to thank the Olive Presbyterian Church for hosting this event. I have to mention someone. Her name is Miss D. She goes by Miss D, but her name is Aline Dixon. She is a member of Staten Island for so many, many years. One of my bosses when I first moved to Staten Island. At the meeting place, I work as a bartender, so I didn't know she was going to be here, so I'm really happy to be amongst people who care about me and my bold action. I would like to mention the children. I met some organization over here who are working with immigrant children. As you know, on that day, Independence Day, I sacrificed my life for them. I'm still fighting for the voiceless. I could have died that day. The police could have shot me. I was very aware of that. I could have fallen. And let's not forget I did that for the sake of our humanity. We are suffering a humanitarian crisis. And I hope to call on the UN to do something about this atrocity. So I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm really honored today. Thank you.
There's a little surprise for you.
Oh my goodness, Miss D.
Say a couple. You were supposed to. I told you. Say no,
Hello, everyone. I'm really not surprised at Patricia. I call her my Patricia because she has always been very aggressive, nervous. It doesn't matter. That's Patricia. So with this, I was coming anyway because I usually come to support the peace action. But when I heard my Patricia, and when she climbed the wall, many people called and said, "Miss D, did you see it?" I didn't even see it. But I wasn't surprised. So when I found out that she was going to be one of the honorees, I said, I have to come.
What a surprise. Thank you so much. I love you.
And she also
I'm
was
shaking
trained,
right
so
now.
I know the
Thank you.
healthy foods. I didn't dare bring anything else.
Out on the edge of darkness, there lies the peace train. Peace train, take this country, come on, take me home again. Out on the edge of darkness lies the peace train. Come on, peace train, take this country, come on now, take me home again. Peace train, holy roll, everyone up on the peace train. I'm on the beach train. Beach train, holy roller. Everyone up on the beach train. Come on, yeah, get on up. Everyone up on the beach. Clap your hands now. Everyone up on the beach train. I'm on the beach train. I said, beach train, holy roller. Everyone up on the beach train. Come on. And you. Yeah.
Another famous guitarist, Jimi Hendrix, once said, "When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace." Our next honoree is Ramsey Order. Ramsey Order had the heroic temerity to film galvanizing footage of the murder of Eric Garner in the face of police objections. He has since been the subject of a pattern of targeted harassment and abuse, first at the hands of the NYPD and now at the hands of prison guards. What does it say about our criminal justice system when the man who committed murder is free and the man who simply videotaped it is behind bars? Ramsey Order picked up a camera and shone a light on the dark side of our policing. He has no formal training, no press credentials, but he created media that brought information to a wider audience and drastically changed the political landscape. His action prompted the start of a movement. In 2015, Ramsey Order was honored by the New York Press Club for his video. He is a cop watcher, a filmmaker, and a journalist, and in the eyes of many, a political prisoner. For all of these reasons, we are honoring him this evening. Accepting the award on his behalf is Deja Richardson. And the award says, "In recognition of your courage in recording and sharing with the world the actions of the NYPD that caused the tragic death of Eric Garner."
Hello everyone, my name is Deja. I'm Ramsey's significant other. I have a little speech that I put together. First off, I would like to say thank you from Ramsey and myself for this award. We are both very honored. I've been with Ramsey now for 4 years and I've seen the growth in him and I'm so proud of the man he is today. Ramsey isn't perfect, but none of us are. I've had to witness him go through so many trials and tribulations and I admire him for it. I don't know how he remains strong and continues on, but he does it. He's not only the love of my life, but he's also my hero. No matter where he is or what he goes through, I'll always be by his side. Since October 3rd, 2016, I've had to go through so many sleepless nights, traveling from facility to facility, tears, worrying about him, anxiety as well. This is very hard to go through, but I try my hardest to stay strong for him and myself. It's been a long ride, but we are almost near the end, and I can't wait for him to come home. I love you, Ramsey. Thank you. And, we also have a couple of flyers over there stating his address, where he is, how you could write him, where he's at right now. So everybody, would like to take one, and thank you very much. I appreciate it.
There are papers, envelopes, anything that you need. Please show your support. They say there are 11 million undocumented immigrants in this country, but if you ask a Native American, the number is more like 325 million. True? I mean, we all came from somewhere else. And I believe that our next honoree is, first of all, I think he's cloned. There's like no way that he can do all the things that he does. Just can't. I mean, every event that I've ever gone to in support of immigration, be it a protest to a celebration, he is there. Cesar Vargas can be found all over any event, Staten Island, United States, and he is for me, one, as all of our recipients, the epitome of being brave. Being brave means to know something is scary, difficult, and dangerous, and doing it anyway, because the possibility of winning the fight is worth the chance of losing it. Talk about brave. He goes on Fox TV. He does. He was New York State's first openly undocumented lawyer, printing right on his application in bold letters, undocumented. After a long fight in the courts, a judicial panel found no rational basis for prohibiting Cesar from practicing law based on his immigration status alone. Cesar Vargas crossed into the United States with his family at age 5 and is the embodiment of a dreamer. He founded the group Dream Action Coalition and travels all over the U.S. organizing for immigration reform. To dream is to contemplate the possibility of doing something, or that something might come to pass. But that is only half of Caesar. The other half is action, taking steps to make that dream a reality. Adding to his many accolades, I'd like to present to him this award this evening. In recognition of your commitment to immigrants as an activist, lawyer, and public spokesperson, educating the nation about the rights, strengths, and struggles of immigrants on behalf of Peace Action Staten Island.
Well, everyone, thank you so much. Sophia, thank you so much for your courage to remind Staten Island that no matter your immigration status, your race, your religion, we're all Staten Islanders, and this is our home. Patricia, thank you so much when the news broke about a woman, a courageous woman climbing the Statue of Liberty, and then it said, Staten Island woman. I was like, that's right, that's right. And for Ramsey and Deja, thank you so much for your courage to remind the nation that at the end of the day, truth is what's going to empower us. It's what's going to deliver this nation from the eclipse of the darkness that we see each day. And Staten Island Against Racism and Police Brutality for your amazing courage for continuing to remind and telling the story of Ramsey. Because at the end of the day, we're all telling our stories. And for me, like, my story is not necessarily the story of Cesar Vargas, the attorney, but the story of a mother who left everything to give their children a better life. A mother who risked crossing the U.S. border, where she could have been killed, she could have been raped. But the love of her children was more powerful than anything. And now these dangers are not theoretical. Each day, hundreds of immigrants die crossing the U.S. border. Women from Central America, young girls, 80% of them crossing get sexually assaulted or raped. Now, when we talk about immigration reform, it's easy to say, well, the 11 million undocumented. Or even easier to say, the dreamers are good. I like Caesar. He's an attorney. He speaks English. He's American. Implying what? That those who are working in restaurants, or those who don't speak English yet, or my mother, are the bad immigrants. Well, I will never blame my mother for risking everything for giving me a better life. And reminded this nation that when we talk about immigration, we're not just talking about domestic issue. We are talking about the destructive policies of U.S., European, economic, military policies that are displacing immigrants across the world. And we need to ensure that this country takes responsibility, that we all need to be better neighbors. But together, we are going to lead to that change. Together, Staten Island is going to lead with peace. But we're going to lead through action. Because no matter what people say about Staten Island, that it's hopeless, there's a Trump borough, I am inspired each single day by amazing groups that each day work hard to ensure that we demonstrate the power of Staten Island. Whether it's a rally or the working with an amazing group, the Above Ground Railroad, that works with immigrants and reminds our community that at the end of the day, we're all neighbors. And that we're all going to win. And that we're all going to stand as equal. Because we need to define citizenship in better terms than what we have now. Because citizenship does not necessarily protect you. Especially if the color of your skin is black. Citizenship does not protect Puerto Ricans from their government abandoning them. Citizenship does not protect a woman from earning less than a white male. And citizenship does not protect people from losing their homes, being indebted with college debt that crumbles. So at the end of the day, we are going to demonstrate that power. Together, we are going to remind this nation that the citizenship means a citizenship where we all stand as equals. And I know together with Peace Action, thank you so much for the great honor. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to remind this nation, to remind this borough that we're going to lead and that we're going to win. Thank you, everyone.
Please